All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Deep Pockets here on YouTube Live. I am your host, Deep Pockets, and I've got my co-host and guest for today, Mr. Hampton. Thank you, Mr. Hampton, for joining us today as we break down today's picks here on YouTube. I got to ask you before we get into today's games. It's been a little while since we've been on YouTube here, but what was your biggest takeaway from this MLB weekend? What do you think?
So, one of the first things, as a Cardinals fan, right? Both of us are Cardinals fans. You kind of start looking at, hey, there's some concern out there, right? That this team struggles to score offensively, and then there's times on the back end where that bullpen is a little bit shaky, and so that's one of the things I'm continually looking at and going, all right, where's this going, right? And then the other thing I'm starting to look at is that colder weather kind of impacted some of the things this weekend, some of the outcomes of the games, right? Kind of sweeping through the nation. And there's some really good offenses starting to form up there that I kind of was taking a look at. The Pittsburgh Pirates, for one. Come on. I never thought that they would be on the streak that they are and playing the quality ball. So, yeah, kind of taking some of those initial thoughts and seeing that. How about yourself?
Yeah, my biggest one is maybe not too much of a surprise, but how about the Tampa Bay Rays? They are dominating to start April, 19-3. Yep. I know they're not playing the strongest of teams, but the way they're rolling right now, 13-0 at home, they're hitting a home run in just about every game. Impressive. What the Tampa Bay Rays are doing right now with the payroll they have, the players that are producing for them, phenomenal. There's not much I can say about them besides they're killing it, and they are the best team in baseball right now. There's no arguments to it. They're the best. They have the best record. They have great pitching. They've got a really nice, solid lineup. The Tampa Bay Rays continue to just absolutely crap on everybody. So props to the Tampa Bay Rays. They're my biggest takeaway from the weekend. I can't believe what they're doing. It's really, really awesome to see for such a small payroll team. I wish they had more support from Tampa Bay. You would think they'd fill the stadium up for how good that team's been, but unfortunately they can't do that. But yeah, that's my biggest takeaway from the weekend.
No, that is a good takeaway. They are a very good team, and it is impressive to watch. They just play good ball. They're always getting these hits. And it's the timely hits though too. The other thing, you think that they're down, that you think that they might not be able to score, and boom, they put up like 2 home runs or something like that. So, and it's not big names either. You don't need big names. Brandon Lau and all those guys are on there. Come on.
Got a question or a comment from Nathan. Damn, I was hoping for the rat guy today.
He's too busy on hockey right now.
He'll settle for Mr. Hampton. I like it. I like the comment. That's cool. I didn't know you could add comments on here. That's pretty sweet.
That is pretty cool.
Nathan, thanks for joining us today. If you're still on here, you were hoping for the Rats hack guy, but you got Mr. Hampton. Yes, he will settle for Mr. Hampton today. Thanks for coming on here and listening in to us as we break down these picks before Spaces. Reminder, if anybody's on here listening right now, Spaces will be starting at 2:15 Central Time. I'll be on there to break down my picks even more. And I will also be going on some other games that, even if I don't have a favorite game, I'll talk about some leans. But I got some time this week to get on YouTube, so I'll be doing some YouTube lives, making sure just trying to get more content out there. MLB is my strong suit, so I want to try to get as much info out there as I can and help people out as much as I can too. So
strong suit being an understatement.
Hey, I'm not going to be perfect every day. As yesterday, I got reverse swept. And I will not hide away from it, as I always say. I post my winners. I'm always going to post my losers. I'm always transparent. I'm not going to say I'm 150 I'm not that kind of person. So you will get honesty from me. That is something you'll always get on my page via Twitter and whatever else I post through. I'm never going to lie about my bets and if I lose or win. I'm not going to hide away from the losing days. It happens. It's a long season. Yeah. It's going to happen. You're not going to be perfect. So.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, and if you're perfect, you're probably a billionaire. So.
Unfortunately, I'm not at that point yet. Hopefully sometime, but probably not. Yeah. All right, well, let's get into today's games. Let's get into the picks for today. I have 3 games I have locked in right now. I'll be breaking them down, and then I'll get to Mr. Hampton on your thoughts on these games too, because I know you've probably got some action in a few of these. So we will break down our favorites. Today we're going to start with the Rangers and the Reds. This is an interesting matchup here. The Rangers have been probably the best team, record-wise, best team in the American League West. They're taking on the Reds, who are ice cold from the plate. The Reds just got absolutely smashed over the weekend against Pittsburgh. They didn't come out Rich Hill shut them down. Vince Velasquez, guys who couldn't figure out how to pitch for the last 5 years. I mean, two guys that I never would have imagined did this well. And I know the Reds lineup isn't super strong, but still very surprising to me. What the Pirates are doing, good for them. Definitely good for them. But in this game, I like a certain team, and it's not the Rangers. I'm actually liking the Reds today, and it's not the Reds full game. I like the Reds first 5. I think this is a really decent spot for them. I hate the Reds for how cold they are right now, but I love the spot. Nick Lodolo's on the mound for the Reds. He's been on fire for the most part this season. He did have a really bad game last time out against the Rays. He gave up like 12 hits, 7 or 8 earned runs. It was just not a good start for him. But this is a much different lineup to me that the Rangers are going to be throwing out there compared to the Rays. And the Rays, we all know how good the Rays are. But the Rangers have struggled against left-handed pitchers this season. When I looked at this, I like to look at splits, how these teams do against each other from a righty versus lefty perspective. 229 against lefties, the Rangers are 316 on base percentage, 4.47 runs per game. If you look at their runs per 9 average OBP against righties, it's a lot higher. Just a better lineup that they see righties again when they have a right-handed pitcher on the mound. So I like the Reds to come out today and jump out to a lead, and Lodolo to obviously not be as bad as last start. I think he has a stronger bounce back today at home here. And the Reds bats got to break out eventually. Yep. It is a little bit of I am a little cautious on this because of the bats. So that's why I am playing this as only a half a unit play. I'm not going full unit on it. I don't trust the Reds offense that much, but I do like it enough to be betting on this game. So I got the Reds first 5 money line at -110. I like Lodolo, and I like what they can do. And I'm not super high on Eovaldi. I know he's been better lately, but Eovaldi's had his games where he's not super impressive. So that's what I'll be playing. My first game, Reds, first 5 money line. Mr. Hampton, do you have any thoughts on this game? Any action on this game?
See, I actually really like that. I do have some action on this game, actually, but I do like that pick because, I mean, I think that Eovaldi can handle the Reds for a while and on that side. And then you have Lodolo, who typically, I mean, he struggled his last start, right? But he does pitch better at home, right? And so I also think that Reds offense is going to be better at home, and they have a decent average, I think, against right-handed pitching around like 231. Nothing crazy, but they play better at home, and so I see that as being at the answer. What I've taken on this is I've kind of looked at the back end of this game, right? And I've actually taken the over of over 8.5 and actually took an alternate over and kind of seeing where I'm going here of over 10 at +185. And kind of what I'm thinking here is when you look at it at the numbers, I'm seeing, kind of a closer game in the front end, but the back end is when you start getting into the Rangers relief pitching and the Reds relief pitching. And the Reds relief pitching they've really struggled there. And so that's why I kind of see the game maybe running away from them, where they might even lose it or put up some more runs from both sides. So that's why I'm kind of taking the over here. That's what I'm seeing. And these Reds have to start getting back. They have to start producing some runs again, right? They've just went through Pittsburgh where they were praying for a run, and so they're home now. So hopefully that helps. So yeah, that's kind of where my direction and lean was on that game.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I think that's a good approach to go with. I mean, the Reds, they got to break out eventually, and this is not a good lineup. I know that. I know they're a bad team overall. But they're better than what they did this past weekend in their previous series. They're coming in on 6 straight losses. Another thing I like about this game that I didn't even mention is the Rangers have never seen Lodolo. Not one player on this team, at least from what I'm seeing on MLB.com, has never seen Lodolo. I typically like to back pitchers like that who have that advantage because sometimes you just don't have as much on a pitcher, especially if you've never seen them before. So it takes a little bit to adjust. So that is the reason why I like the Reds today, first 5. I could see the Rangers being a pretty popular play for how low that money line is. I mean, money line full games like 120, I believe, for the Rangers. So that kind of stands out to me too. But I like the first 5 more than the full game. So that's what I'll be playing, half unit for my first bet of the day.
And I also think too, if I can't remember, I was looking at his number of all these numbers against the Reds players. There's a very small sample size as well too. So I think that kind of helps lend it to that first 5. I mean, there's a couple players that have seen him, but not the entire team.
For sure. Awesome. All right, man. Well, good stuff on that game. Rangers, Reds broke that game down. Let's get to the next game I've got for tonight. It's in the White Sox and Blue Jays game. Toronto hosting the White Sox in a new series here. Should be a good one, at least for Toronto. I think the White Sox are still a really bad team. And I'm going back to an over here. I like the over in this game. I think these two pitchers here can produce some runs for us, or at least allow us to get some runs tonight. The last time these two teams played last year, 7 games total, I believe it was. All of those games went over, every single game. And what makes me like this a lot even more is these two teams have been playing to the under a lot more. Toronto went into New York, every single game went under. I believe Houston, last game against Houston, they pushed, and the game before that they were on the under. And I just don't see that happening again, especially with the two pitchers tonight in this game. Lance Lynn just has not looked right to me. I've watched him. He's walking a lot of batters. He's giving up a lot of home runs. And this is a really tough Toronto lineup he has to face tonight. And he's on the road. I don't love this spot at all for Lance Lynn. And until he proves me wrong this year, I can't really fade and go with them, whether it's a money line pick or an underplay. So I'm rolling with the over in this game. And I can't tell you enough how much I don't trust the White Sox bullpen. We always have an opportunity to hit the over when you have such a bad bullpen like the White Sox do. And I'm not too high on Toronto's bullpen either. Right. So that is a big reason why I like the over here. If you look at the lineup, lots of players in this lineup have success against Lance Lynn. And some smaller names too. Kevin Kiermaier, not a guy who has a lot of offense. He bats 375 in 8 at-bats against Lance Lynn. George Springer in 24 at-bats, 292 with a home run. Matt Chapman, low average, 118, 17 at-bats, but 2 home runs. Vlad Guerrero, 12 at-bats, 250 average. So there are some players. Brandon Belt, they even mentioned Brandon Belt, 364 average and 11 at-bats. So there's a lot of good success with this Toronto team against Lance Lynn. And like I said, I can't really trust him until then. On the other side, we got Chris Bassett. Chris Bassett has been better his last couple starts. Yeah. He had that rough outing his first time against the Cardinals, but since then he's been pretty solid. I still think this is like a tougher spot for him against the White Sox. The White Sox, I don't love their offense, but I think they can do enough to score a couple runs for us here. So I like the over. I'm going to be playing the over here. It's at 9, and I got it at even money. This is a full unit play for me. I'm going full unit on this. Give me the Blue Jays, White Sox over 9. Mr. Hampton, any thoughts on this game?
I love it. I actually have White Sox over 10, the over in that game of 10.5 at plus 195 because number one, I was seeing value there, but you're also I like what you said, the breakdown. Blue Jays are getting back home, kind of getting into kind of a place where they're very comfortable. They can put up some more runs, and I definitely think that until Lance Lynn proves you wrong, you got to go with against them on that. So I definitely like that play. That's a nice one today.
Got it. Nice. And I like that you're going with the alternate. I like that you're getting some plus money on it. That means that you like it enough that it's going to go over. So you're going to play it at an alternate line at some plus money. I like that.
Exactly. And I like the even odds for you too. Heck, that's pretty good too. So that's saying a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, I'm just looking back at some of these games here with the two teams. And last season, even with some of these better pitchers, like there were stronger pitchers in this matchup between the two, and they still hit the over in them. So I like that. And both teams hit righties fairly well. The White Sox see righties better this year compared to lefties. On the other side, Toronto slightly better against lefties, but still good enough against righties that I trust them here. So yeah, I like to see runs tonight, and especially with the last series, Toronto didn't really break out as much. I think they can do that tonight against a weaker White Sox rotation / bullpen. So that is the game I'll be rolling with.
Yeah, and the White Sox love to give up runs. We found that out through several games this year.
Definitely. All right. And then this is my third and final pick today. It's the Cardinals and the Giants. This is a game that I feel strongly about enough that I'm going to consider this as my pick of the day. I don't do these a lot, and I wanted to make sure I had enough games under my belt before I started posting PODs. And I've done that since last year. Last year, I did a lot of PODs in baseball, but I waited until a certain point that I felt more comfortable doing it. And let me reiterate and give some background as to what a POD means to me. A pick of the day just means it's my favorite pick of the day. It doesn't mean I'm going to put my house mortgage on it. It doesn't mean I'm going to put my savings on it. It means I like it enough that it's my favorite pick of the day. Simple as that. So for anyone that thinks this is the lock of the year, it's not. I just really like the game, and that's what I'm playing it at. I think it's a good price, and I'll give you more reasons why I like the Cardinals today. So the Cardinals are coming off a series where they finally got a game under their belt. They won yesterday. I like that they're coming in with momentum in this game. I like that they're coming off with a win yesterday. The offense looked pretty good. Jack Flaherty gave the Cardinals a strong start, much needed because the bullpen has been on fumes already this season. There's just been too much bullpen work this early in the season. He gave us a quality start, which is huge, but I like it enough because Montgomery is pitching. He's probably been our best starter all season. Now, if you look at his last start, you probably wouldn't say that. He got rocked against the Arizona Diamondbacks. He gave up like 10 hits and 7 earned runs, but I think he's a lot better tonight. I think he bounces back tonight, and he's facing a Giants lineup who I've faded multiple times against a left-handed pitcher. They are bad against left-handed pitchers. I know they did well against David Peterson over the weekend for the Mets, but David Peterson has been a bum all season long, so I don't give them as much props to that. 212 average against lefties, 270 on base percentage, and 2.89 runs a game. Going back to another thing, I can't really trust this Giants team to hit lefties until they can prove it over the course of time. And until they do that, I'm just going to keep fading them. And I think this is a really nice spot tonight for the Cardinals. They're going up against Alex Cobb, who I'm not as high on as well. Alex Cobb has been in the league for a while. He has some decent starts here and there, but Cardinals are hitting righties at a good enough level for me to be backing them here. So I like Montgomery to bounce back. I love that he's a lefty. And the Cardinals have the much better bullpen, even though the Cardinals bullpen hasn't been super strong. The Giants have probably been the worst. And yesterday, we saw Ross Stripling go under 5 innings pitched. So I imagine if Alex Cobb is out of this game by I don't know when he's going to go out of the game. If the Cardinals can jump on him early, we may see him only go 5 innings. And then you get that Giants bullpen, which is always a plus. So I like the Cardinals tonight. I think it should be priced higher personally. I think maybe the slow start to what the Cardinals have done this season is why we're seeing it such a low price, but I'll take it. A left-handed pitcher, Montgomery against the Cardinals. I got the Cardinals tonight, minus 125. I haven't decided the units I'm going on it. I usually keep it to just one unit if it's my favorite play, but I might increase it today. I'll let you guys know if I end up doing that. But Mr. Hampton, any thoughts on Cardinals Giants here?
Yeah, no, when you mentioned this last night, the one thing I kind of thought about is really the Cardinals need to start putting up some wins here, right? They're struggling. And the way they're going to win tonight is getting to Alex Cobb early and taking good at-bats. And so I'm hoping that momentum comes into this game and puts them into that position. Because, I mean, I've seen it. It's something wrong. Sometimes it's like California does something to the Cardinals. Sometimes they struggle in that state a lot. So really thinking that it's really dependent on how well they come out tonight and do that. And so I do like that play. I definitely wouldn't trust the Giants right now. And I've actually I haven't taken anything on there. I've actually looked a little bit at unders in this game as well. Kind of like, hey, Cardinals might get up a couple runs here and there. Don't really trust that San Francisco offense, but not an official lean or anything yet, but kind of something I've looked into.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I don't like to back the team I like the most unless I'm confident in it. And tonight it is one of those times. I think I've backed them officially like once or twice this season. Like I don't do it every day. I don't like to do it. So unless I feel really strong about it, I will bet them. So tonight's one of those nights I feel comfortable enough backing them. And the Giants have won 2 straight games. I don't know. I just don't like this Giants team. There's not enough there to support. So I like the Cards tonight. And what I also like is what Nolan Gorman is doing. Just a quick little tip. Shout out to Nolan Gorman. He has been the best hitter in this lineup from start to finish so far in the season. We need him to keep playing at his level that he's playing at. And if he can hit third in the lineup consistently, I like it a lot. I think he's going to add a lot of support. If he's in between Goldie and Arenado, he can't ask for a better way to be in that lineup. So look for Nolan Gorman to hopefully have another big game. He's been our hottest hitter all season long. So shout out to him for starting out well.
He deserves to be there. I mean, you can just watching his at-bats, you see that he's better than he was last year. Far more disciplined. I wish that other Cardinals players would look at what he's doing because it is impressive how he approaches the plate this season.
Yeah, he's made great adjustments since last season. He's not chasing as much. He's taking more pitches. He's walking. That's something you like to see. And from 1 year to 2 years, I mean, he's a sophomore in the MLB. So that's also very nice to see the adjustments he's made. Hopefully he can continue that. I know it's only April, so small sample size, but very positive to see what he's doing. All right, that was the third and final play from me. We're moving on to another game. This is a game Mr. Hampton has some action in, Athletics and Angels. I've got nothing here, so I will not start us off. I'll just kind of go off what you say and see what I have. But Mr. Hampton, what is something you are liking in this game that you would like to talk about?
All right. So first off, at the high level here, what I'm looking at is the under in this game, under of 10. And kind of when you look at the numbers here, you kind of look at the pitchers and you go, well, I don't even know how to say his name, Waldachuk or whatever his name is. Crazy names on that team. He has a 7.6 ERA and Suarez has a 9.26 ERA, right? Well, kind of what I'm seeing here today is I watched them, both teams this weekend. Both teams are really struggling offensively right now. The Oakland Athletics, really the worst team in Major League Baseball. The Angels, even at home, are really they just can't seem to get the stuff together. I mean, to kind of put up really big runs. And when I look at the number of 10, I see that as being real. I mean, that's a very high number, even if these pitchers are bad. That's a really high number for two average teams to be covering right now. And so I really thought that the under was appropriate here. I do see, the Angels really haven't been pitching Suarez a lot because, I mean, he's kind of been shaky. So I think if he's starting to give up runs, they'll probably go to the bullpen. That's a decent bullpen, although it's been taxed over the last few days, but it's a decent bullpen. And the Athletics, I just don't see them being able to get to into that pitching very well. So really that's kind of where I'm looking at right now. I'm seeing like the under at -110 is what I got, but I actually saw it at -104, I think, on Bet Rivers, if you guys are interested in that in whatever state. So that's really where I'm coming through on this one and kind of my lean on that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I got nothing in this game, but I definitely wouldn't trust many overplays with the Athletics. I know they can give up a lot of runs, but their offense is just bad enough that I don't trust them at all for any kind of overs. Yeah, I like it. I got nothing really to say besides I support it because 10 runs is a lot. And even if the Angels score 7 runs, it could be possible that the A's score no runs. And hopefully Jose Suarez can be as good as he was against the Yankees last start because he was good against that terrible Yankees lineup. So hopefully you can get that again today against another bad lineup like the A's have. So definitely would support that play, and hopefully you can cash on that. You said under 10 at 110 you got?
Yes.
10.
Pardon me?
110 or 10 and a half or 10 runs?
I got it at under 10 at -110. So if you find it at 10 and a half, I mean, that means Vegas is kind of thinking they're going to just score high, but I would kind of still be comfortable taking it under 10 and a half. The other thing I was looking at on this too is both pitchers really didn't have a lot of sample sizes between the players that are potential players in the lineup. So that was another thing too. Like I think you mentioned it in other matchups, but I do kind of like pitchers to be pretty good against players that have never seen them before. So that was kind of what I was looking at as well.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I like it. I like that a lot for sure. I mean, especially like I said, for how the A's offense can be. I know we can be a little tripped up from the bullpen sometimes, and anything could happen there. But I like it enough that I agree with you rather than betting the over here. It's usually a way people want to bet as well. Overs are more popular than unders.
I mean, I'll tell you that. I mean, I'll tell you that every day of the week. I mean, I'd rather sweat an over than try and sweat an under, right? So
for sure,
that's the betting world.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Good stuff on that game. Do you have any other games that you like right now, or is that pretty much it for your slate?
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I wasn't really impressed with tonight's slate outside of those games. I mean, the Athletics game isn't really impressive to me. So I kind of looked at the Houston Tampa game as potentially being an over, but I haven't really talked or looked into that as well. So yeah, nothing too crazy yet.
Okay. Awesome. That's fine. All right. That's all I've got for the picks. I do have one more little bonus for fun tonight in the MLB. I did a little research on some teams that I think could potentially pull an upset tonight. Now, I don't have any straight bets with these teams. This is just a $20 for fun money line underdog parlay. These are 3 teams I could see winning. I'm not going to go too crazy on it. Like I said, I usually do long shot parlays. I'm going to try a different one tonight. I'm going to do a 3-team. So I'm not going to try to rely on 9 teams winning the bet for me. We're just going to keep it to 3. And these are 3 teams I could see winning tonight. And we're getting +1, about 1,100. It's plus 1013. It's close. It's a little bit over 10. Anyway, the three teams I'm liking for tonight, just as a little parlay for fun, are the Baltimore Orioles. I like them. They're playing really good right now. I know Kramer's on the mound. I don't love him a lot. He's a lot of Boston players have success against him, but I still don't trust Chris Sale. I think there's enough firepower in this Baltimore lineup who can hit him enough. So I've liked Baltimore. They're priced at plus 105. In the second leg, I am liking the Houston Astros. I think the Astros at that kind of price is sometimes too good to be true at times. Like I know the Tampa Bay Rays are playing really well right now, but man, 134 for them on the money line. I'm going to throw them in the parlay tonight because I think they're playing really well. They're coming off that sweep against the Atlanta Braves, and everybody's talking about the Tampa Bay Rays in baseball right now. What would the Houston Astros like to say? We just won the World Series. Let's come into Tampa Bay and end that home streak that they have of 13-0. So taking a shot with them. Don't love Urquidy as much, but on the other side, I don't really like Bradley as much. He's been really good to start his career, and he's going to have a much tougher lineup tonight against Houston. So Houston is my second leg of that parlay at plus 134. And my third one, this one might be pushing a little bit, but I'm going to take a shot with it because you got to be bold if you're going to play these. The third team I like is the Detroit Tigers to beat the Milwaukee Brewers. Just taking a shot with it. Matt Boyd's on the mound. He's been okay. He's been solid to start the season. It's more of, I think Detroit can, pull off like one of these weird wins. I mean, it's a long season. Things happen. Colin Ray's on the mound for Milwaukee. Don't really have much good things to say about him besides he's just an average major league pitcher. So I'm just going to take a shot with the Tigers here. They're priced with a lefty on the mound who over the past year, the Brewers have struggled against lefties. So I'm going to take a shot with that. And they're priced at plus 132. So those are my three underdog picks I like for tonight. Just going to throw them in a parlay for some fun. If you bet $25 on this book that I'm playing on, you win about $250. So just for some fun, I'm going to play it.
I like it. I kind of noticed it this weekend. The Houston Astros really do play kind of those teams from last year or those top 10 teams that we see in the league. They play them pretty well. It's the bottom tier teams that they kind of let hang in there. And I think that offense is kind of getting going too. So I like that. I could see Detroit every now and then seems to throw up a decent game against teams. So I like that.
Yeah, I was like, I want to put three teams together, and I looked at everything from all the information I gathered, and those were the three teams that stuck out to me the most for it. So I'm just taking a shot. It probably won't hit because those are hard to hit every day, but I mean, I could absolutely see those three teams winning, and with the price that they're getting, I like it. So yeah, I'm gonna put those three in a parlay.
I love it.
Besides that, though, I got nothing else. Those are my the three picks I talked about today, or what I like. Reds first 5 money line, Blue Jays White Sox over, Cardinals money line as my pick of the day, and then the favorite MLB underdog parlay of three teams.
I like it. I mean, your baseball. We know our baseball. We're having fun out there. So I mean, no risk it, no biscuit, right? So gotta go out there and have some fun. The season's still young.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hopefully we will continue the winning ways here for Deep Pockets. And Mr. Hampton, thank you for joining us today on the YouTube. It's been a great time talking some picks with you. We got this in nice little short and sweet video. We don't need to sit here for 3 hours and talk about it. Nobody wants to listen to anybody for 3 hours. Like people don't like watching baseball for 3 hours. They complain about that. But hey, let's sit and watch an NFL game for 4 hours. And about every time there's a challenge, a commercial, blah, blah, blah. So I'm done with the people complaining about baseball being too slow. We're having a good pace going on right now. We're good.
Oh yeah. I mean, heck, you turn around, you start the game, you turn around, the game's almost over now. So it's almost too fast really sometimes. Is. So
seriously, I've noticed that. Like I'm like, holy crap, it's already the 5th inning. Like right. these games are going quick. Like it's fine, I don't mind it, but I mean, it's fun. If you love baseball, you don't care how long it takes. So
no. But it has made it better to watch. I will admit that it is, at least on the TV. I haven't seen it, and I haven't gone to an actual game yet. But so far on the TV, it does make it easier to watch.
Yep, for sure. All right, perfect. Well, good stuff today, Mr. Hampton. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to whoever jumped into the live and watched us. It looks like we have 3 people in there right now. So I don't care if we have 100 people or 3 people. Thank you to everybody who came in to listen to us. And if you like what you're watching, give us a follow on Twitter. We post all of our plays on Twitter for free. We recap them, win or losses. We will not lie to you. We'd be transparent about all of our wins and losses. So thank you to everybody who joined. I'll be hosting my spaces in about 15 minutes on Twitter. So if you want to get some more of the information or listen to other people who share their picks, jump in there and listen to us. But have a great rest of your day. Let's continue the winning ways and let's make some deep pockets.
Deep pockets, baby. Let's go.
All right. Everyone have a good night. Later.